Hi guys, hope you're all okay. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do a video today on license-free radios. So about a week ago I did a video on what the term license-free means because it's a question that gets asked a lot on this channel, and when it actually comes down to what radios are license-free, the options are quite limited, and there are radios that are specifically made to be license-free. Now I covered all the details around that in that other video, so I'll put the link to that at the end of this video or in the description below. But I have got some license-free radios here today in the form of the Hytera BD305LF. Now, this is quite an interesting radio. I picked a couple of these up recently, and I can't show you every little aspect of the radio because they've been programmed for a site, but I can give you a decent idea of what these radios are all about, and we are going to do a couple of tests on the air and things like that just to show you the function and the operating side of these things. So I've got two in front of me here and both boxed up, and they are quite a remarkable piece of kit really. You can go out and buy PMR 446 radios relatively cheap. You can get them for less than £10 now for a pair on the internet. These are quite high end, and there's a reason for that. These retail at around £100 each, between £90 and £100 each at the moment at the time of filming. And it's because they've got a couple of features that sort of set them apart from your average PMR 446 radio. So just some of the highlights on here. You've got what Hytera are calling anti-interference. So it adopts digital encoding and an error correcting module. So the radio has the ability to avoid signal interference on the same frequency. Now that works in analog mode. So these are dual mode. They're analog and DMR, but they do have digital sort of correction on the analog side of things, and it's quite interesting. I'll show you some audio samples in a little while so you can hear what that sounds like, but they do work with every other analog radio that's on the same frequency, because when I first got them out of the box I thought they were programmed in DMR when I heard the audio, but when I compared them with an analog radio on 446 they were talking to each other, and it's because of this anti-interference module in there. So that's the first thing that sets them apart. So just on some of the details on these, they're quite lightweight and quite small, and they are for use out of the box if you want to buy them and use them straight out of the box. They can be programmed, so these are programmed to a site that they go into, but they are 446. But what you can do is, because they have 16 programmable channels, you can program, for example, you could program channel 1 to 8 on channels 1 to 8, and you could program those same channels on 9 to 16 but with different CTCSS tones should you want to. So they are 16 channel in the PMR range, and the range of these is 446 to 446.2, so standard PMR for all EU countries that use PMR 446. So as I said, they are dual mode, the analog and digital. So these two here are analog and DMR, but they're only programmed to analog. I can't show you the DMR side of things, but I will give you a flavour of how these work. They've got USB charging, and they've got that clear communication anti-interference module in there. So quite a nice little radio. So what we'll do is we'll have a look inside the box. I've got two in front of me here. We're just going to have a look at one, and we'll just look at what you actually get inside the box. So we've got a manual, and that gives you the usual stuff that you get in sort of any radio user manual. It's got an FCC statement in there. It's got the EU regulatory conformance for PMR. It's just got what's in the box, what all the functions do, shows you how to put the belt clip on and things like that, insert the battery. It's got some optional features in there, so it does have features such as zone, so you can obviously select your zone if you're using the DMR mode, scan, emergency alarm, busy channel lockout, timeout timer, battery save. On the digital side of things, it's got all call, one touch call, and TDMA direct mode, which basically allows the radio to operate on one channel with 2 time slots. And then for the analog features, you can take the squelch off, you can set the squelch level, you can monitor, so that allows you to receive weaker signals, so basically momentarily take the squelch off. And of course it's got CTCSS and DCS tones in there. So it does pack quite a punch for PMR 446, with it being a dual mode radio for analog and DMR. We've also got a charging cable in here, so this is a 3-pin to it's either mini or micro USB, I can never remember, but you can charge that. It also comes with an optional charging dock. These haven't got the charging dock with them, they've just got the USB cable. We've got a wrist strap in here, and then we've also got a battery. And it's like a proprietary battery for the radio itself, so they don't take like normal standard cells like AA's or AAA's. It's a proprietary battery for the radio, and that basically just slots in on the back. You've got a cover on the back of the radio which unlocks, and then on the side there's a little gap where you can put a screwdriver or your fingernail in and just open that, and then the battery slides into place underneath the belt clip. Once the battery's in place, you can just put the battery compartment cover back on and just lock it on the bottom, and you're good to go. That's it for assembly. The belt clips on here are already attached, but they just screw on like many other radios for handheld use. So just looking at the radio itself, on the side we've got a PTT button there. There's a plastic PTT, it's not rubberized. Underneath we have got a rubberized button, and you can use that for the features that I just spoke about in the manual, so that's programmable. We've also got a battery contact there for the drop-in charger. On the front, it's quite simple. We've got a volume up and down set of buttons there. We've got a metal speaker grill, looks like aluminium speaker grill there, and we've got the microphone port on the front. On this side, we've got a speaker mic port, so it's a single pin port, so it won't work with like the Bofeng style Kenwood connectors. It's a single port. You'd have to research the pin out for that, and then we've got a little LED indicator there for charging, and then underneath we've got the USB micro port underneath there for the charging cable, and also for programming via a computer. So if these are supplied by a dealer, then they would you'd be able to give them your programming requirements for them to program them up for you. And then on the top we've got an LED indicator for transmit and receive. We've got the on-off button there, and we've got a rotary encoder for selecting your channels, so you can see there's 16 channels on there. And you'll also notice there's a fixed antenna, because these are PMR 446, so they have got the fixed antenna. So inside there'll be a coiled wire cut for 446, and that's soldered directly onto the board inside. Just the feel of this radio, it feels quite solid, quite rugged in the hand. It doesn't feel any worse or any better than any of the Chinese radios really that are out there. I think quality-wise, it's probably similar to all the others. It is IP54 rated, but it doesn't feel any more rugged or sturdy than many other sort of the Chinese cheap handhelds I've got. I think the price point, the additional increase in price on this is for the digital side of things. So that's assembly quite straightforward. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to go up to the local hill. I'm going to do a test with a friend of mine on PMR 446. He's going to be about 8 miles away from me, and then I'm going to show you at close range what that digital sort of synthesizer sounds like on the voice in there. It's quite an interesting little thing. As I say, it does sound sort of DMR-ish, maybe a little bit more DPMR-ish, but it definitely sounds like it's got some sort of digital encoding on there. But the interesting thing is it works with normal analog radios. Okay, so I've come up to some local high ground. It's absolutely freezing. I'm a bit more well prepared today. I've got some gloves on. We're going to try these Hytera half-watt PMR radios. It's really windy, bitterly cold, but you know, you've got to get stuck in there, aren't you, in the name of radio. So I've got Chris on the other end. He's about 6-7 miles that way. I forget now. I'll put it on the map on the screen. He's over down there at work, so we're going to put a call to him and see if we pick him up. Okay, Chris, are you receiving?
Yeah, receiving, Lewis. Yeah, very pleased, mate. Very good audio back to you.
Yeah, no worries. You're really clear up here as well. I'm just up Worth Low on the usual high spot, just for the video, doing a bit of test. I tell you what, now we're sort of at a bit of distance between us. That sort of DMR sound has sort of gone. I don't know if you're getting the same sort of thing, but that digital voice suppression thing doesn't seem to be as noticeable when you're further away. It just seems to be more noticeable when you're close up. Rog, didn't get anything then, Chris?
Is that any better now, Lewis?
Yeah, that's better now. Yeah, what did you change?
I took about 2 steps backwards.
Yeah, that's better. You're crystal clear now. Did you get me last over?
No negative again.
I was just saying, when we're at further distance, that digital voice compression thing seems to be less noticeable. It's more noticeable when you're close together. I don't know how it's sounding your end.
Yeah, like I said, it's a little bit of white noise, Lewis, but it's better than player. Supposed to show you the capabilities of radio back here.
Yeah, for half a watt. I mean, I'm on high ground here, so I'm getting hammered by QRM, because even though the CTCSS tone's on, I'm still getting quite a bit of QRM from other operators on the same frequency on PMR channel 2. But yeah, well, at least they're working, Chris. Definitely working. What's the volume and stuff like your end? Does it sound quite good? That's the thing with PMR. There's just people everywhere. Did you follow me up here, Chris? It's always a bit of a tough one when you're on somewhere like PMR where it's just so busy. Even with CTCSS on, you can't guarantee that there's going to be someone, or there isn't going to be anyone that hasn't got the same CTCSS programmed. Unfortunately, that's the case, and with me being on quite a high takeoff point, I'm getting PMR traffic from all the way across Manchester, which is sort of scuppering things. But they are working, you know, for half watt PMR radios, which is essentially what they are working. You know, Chris is a good fair few miles away from me, and even though I'm in an open area, he's in a really dense built up area. He's on the suburbs of the city of Manchester, so he is quite enclosed where he is, surrounded by buildings and flats and colleges and stuff. So I am quite happy with that, really. It's quite interesting that that digital voice synthesizer in here doesn't.
Okay, Lewis, if you give me a good 30 seconds, recording for you.
Yeah, no worries, Chris. Sounds like you're outside now. Yeah, right. I'm just going to give you some audio then. As I say, I'm on Werner Flow filming this test video. It's absolutely freezing up here, Chris. I've got my gloves on and my coat. It's about 3 degrees, but it's nice and clear across the city. Anyway, good conditions for radio. There's a bit of a wind though, so I don't know if that'll pick up on the camera or if it's picking up on the radio. Anyway, I hope that was enough audio for you, Chris.
Chris, sounds like you're outside now. Yeah, right, I'm just going to give you some audio then. As I say, I'm on Werner Flow filming this test video. It's absolutely freezing up here, Chris. I've got my gloves on and my coat. It's about 3 degrees, but nice and clear across the city. Good conditions for radio. There's a bit of a wind though, so I don't know if that'll pick up on the camera or if it's picking up on the radio. Anyway, I hope that was enough audio for you, Chris. Yeah, for you. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, should I? Sorry.
Yeah, that's alright, yeah. Yeah, just give us some more audio for the video, Chris, where you were then, because it was sounding good.
Yeah, okay, Lewis, they have a location at the moment in South Manchester. First call Wellington, absolutely freezing cold out here. Blowing at absolute hoolie. Probably about the same sort of temperature. It's really, really cold. Unfortunately, I have got no hat and gloves back to you.
Yeah, no worries. I was just saying on the video that you're in a really built up area, so I suppose that the test is working quite well considering how densely populated it is down there. Did you say you've taken a video, Chris?
Yeah, I've done a small video. You guys are absolutely bolting in it outside.
Yeah, no worries, Chris. You get yourself in and get warm, and I'll say 7-3 and I'll catch you in a little while. I'll drop you a message in a few minutes.
Yeah, just keep monitoring for a minute or two. I'll try you from inside the shop as well.
Yeah, no worries, Chris. You're crystal clear then, 5-9. Yeah, so Chris went outside.
Are you receiving, Lewis?
Yeah, similar sort of signal. Well, I'll probably say a 5 and 7, Chris, but fully readable.
Yeah, I'm inside the office inside the shop at the moment, so it works really well.
Yeah, that's good. So you're indoors on the outskirts of Manchester, and I'm up here on the hill in the cold. And yeah, well, we're definitely making the contacts in here, Chris, on half a watt, which is encouraging, isn't it?
Absolutely fantastic. Right, I'll catch you later. I'll see you in a bit water. See you in a bit.
Yeah, no worries, Chris. 7-3. Catch you later on. Okay, so that was a test with Chris inside and outside there. He's cold as well. I'm absolutely freezing up here on Werner Float, so I think I'm going to wrap this one up for now, guys.
Okay, this is an audio test of the Hytera on analog 446. Just trying to demo the voice synthesizer. So it picks up on the microphone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the Hytera PMR 446. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Audio test. Audio test. 1, 2, 1, 2.
So it does sound, you can hear the digital sound to it. It sounds a little bit like DPMR. I'm not sure how well it's going to show up on the video, but you'll just have to take my word for it, guys. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I just thought I'd show you a look there, some high-end 446 radios. It's easy to review the cheaper ones on here like we have done in the past, but I just thought I'd show you some more high-end ones here. They are quite a nice radio. I'm not not a big user of 446, to be honest. So I'm not sure how much use they'd actually get. Well, they won't get any use because they're going to a site. I've just borrowed these for the purposes of this video. But yeah, I think they're nice. I'd like to test out the DMR side of things, but of course I've not got the programming software or cable, and they have been programmed for the end user that's going to be using these. But yeah, quite a nice little radio. 0.5 watt, 446, DMR, analog, and it's got that voice synthesizer on there. The autocorrect, I just think it does pack quite a lot of punch for such a small little radio, and I suppose if you were going to use them all the time and you're going to get use out of them, maybe £100 a piece isn't that much to spend if it's, if you want a rugged radio that's probably going to last, and of course has got that digital option on there. It's probably the better option to go than some of the cheaper radios that are out there. Okay, so we'll leave that one there. If you have any comments, suggestions or questions, I'll answer them as best as I can in the box below, so just leave them down there for me. If you enjoyed this video, of course, as always, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you click subscribe. I've got absolutely tons of videos coming, guys, so stay tuned for those, and we'll catch you in the next one. 7-3 for now. Cheers.